Today, I want to talk about a heavy subject, yet is one that now is getting a lot of attention. And, somehow I welcome that attention. Trauma. The movie of Gabor Mate is coming, The Wisdom of Trauma. And I feel so excited about it because more and more people are getting acquainted to that. When I started talking about trauma a couple of years ago, I did it in a conference I don't remember, in Oslo, I believe, in Oslo. And the first reaction that I got from people is, I had a wonderful childhood, that didn't happen to me. And I was so surprised about the reaction of people and the resistance there was that I'm fine, there is nothing wrong with me. And I started investigating deeper and deeper and deeper. This, I am fine, there is nothing wrong with me. And I started to realize that, in fact, there are just two kinds of people. People who have trauma and they have no idea, and people who have trauma and are working in healing. Trauma is a reaction, an inner reaction, something that breaks within based on what you see in reality. This happens to all of us. No matter what a healthy childhood you had, because we are all in this show of life in which things happen from, environment, what you see on television, what you see in the media, what happened in the past 12 months, that generates a break within your systems, and you start behaving in a way that is more about coping and surviving than thriving. There are other sources of trauma within you, which is related to nature. In our DNA, we carry the pain of our mothers, grandmothers, fathers, grandfathers, 7 generations past. But still, we don't want to know about it. So we don't want to talk. In general, we don't want to talk about the bad things because they are bad. We just want to say, I'm fine. When you ask somebody, how are you doing? You're not asking, how are you doing? You are entering to a established set of answers. I'm fine. Fine and you. No, fine and you. And people are not listening to each other, and people are not listening to themselves. My very first best friend is the one who initiated me in this concept of how are you. One day I asked her, how are you doing? And she answered, I don't know. Let me feel how I'm doing. She took a pause and she told me honestly how she was doing. That is so inspiring to me that this is what I'm asking you to do today, and hopefully for the rest of your days, for the rest of your life. Because yes, I do believe that trauma can be healed, but up to a certain level, because reality just keeps bringing it back to us. So what we need to do is to learn to live with that. And also people trigger us with their own stories. So what we need to do is to ask ourselves, we don't need to wait until somebody asks us, how are you doing? We ask ourselves, how am I doing right now? I want to read some symptoms of trauma. One of the symptoms of trauma is to pretend to be okay when you are not. So if you say to yourself, I'm okay, and just smile when you feel like crying, there is something that you are repressing. Have you not replied to that email or that phone call? Are you pushing people away? Is it the fact that you feel that you don't deserve love? Is it the fact that you're afraid of what they will say? Whether they embrace you or they criticize you? There is something with you. Do you actually avoid things that you love doing? Are you not doing the things that you love? I can remember for me was art. I love art. Now I'm not avoiding it anymore. I love art. And I work in an engineering science world. As you ask yourself how I'm doing right now, how I'm doing, and honestly, look at your behavior, look what you are, be mindful of where you are. You have a super powerful tool to heal yourself, and that is called compassion. If you have been in your healing journey for a while, you have been to psychologists, you do your yoga, or you're with a coach, celebrate where you are. Even if you are repeating the same behavior that is negative towards yourself, think, hey, I forgive myself. I love myself. I'm absolutely compassionate towards me. Take a deep breath, deep breath, and fill yourself with love for yourself. Compassion, compassionate love, unconditional love. Like when you see a child that is learning how to walk and is crawling and he cannot get it, with that kind of love. Not with a love of desperation, but with the love of patience. And patience with the total knowing that the child will learn to walk. Now, I ask you exactly the very same when you meet somebody who triggers you. Is that person aggressive? Is that person who is not listening to you, is not listening to your feelings, is pushing you away, is not wanting to do the beautiful thing that you want, etc.? That person is suffering from trauma. You can tell it, you can feel it, how that person is hurting herself or himself. What to do in that case? The very same. Compassion. Now, of course, the compassion will be directed at him or at her. And as you send love, as you send compassion and unconditional love to the person, you're sending compassion and unconditional love towards yourself. And this creates a loop. And you know what is really beautiful is fear goes away. Usually people with heavy trauma, with a lot of pain, they behave in an aggressive way, in a negative way, in a way that it will hurt you. When you stay in the compassion, there is nothing nobody can do to you because you are in the love. Because you value yourself and you know that they are suffering. It is not to hurt you, it's to cope with themselves. So, trauma, heavy word, many, a lot of information, many theories, all valuable theories, and I love all the theories, but I leave you with the absolute more powerful thing that you can do. Apply love, apply compassion. Whenever you get the hint that trauma must be present, whether in yourself or in others. And if you feel that the remedy doesn't work, double the doses, double the doses. If you feel that it's not working, have more compassion for yourself, have more compassion for the others. You're going to see how everything is going to start changing. Your inner conversation is going to start changing. Your relationships are going to start changing. So that is it for today in the From Wounds to Wings series. As you know, I am growing a Facebook group, the Wounds to Wings Facebook group. I will be delighted to welcome you there. This is what we're talking about there, transforming how our pain dragged us down on how our healing will make us fly. I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in our group. If you feel inspired, contact me. I will be delighted to help you. And have a wonderful day.